Just a question for James. Have you made any alterations to your sort of preparations for this particular fight in terms of diet or nutrition or anything else? Or?
It's hard work, dedication. Obviously, I've had injuries the past couple of years, like I keep on saying, but I'm training smart now. I've switched up certain things. But no, just normal hard work. Do a lot of swimming now as well. I religiously
swimming will not help you in this fight.
just like strength and conditioning won't help me. My boxing really won't help me.
You can drink as many weights as you want.
You are hilarious.
Have you stayed off of the substances, James?
What? What? Going out? I have actually.
I can feel that. So how long have you been off of them?
Off what? I'm confused. Say what?
Substances.
What? Like what?
The type I caught you drinking one night.
I ain't actually had it. What are you on about? What are you asking me? I'm confused. Confused what you're asking. How long?
When was the last time you had a drink, pretty much?
The last time I had a drink was about 3 months ago.
So when you tried to fight hard in Dubai?
No, it wasn't. But he's holding on. I'm going to argue with hard. And that's the dead day. That's the night he knew he was going to beat me. Mad.
Have you bumped anyone else in the eye since
No,
the
because do you know what, bro? I don't even really remember, so I'm trying to. I don't really remember. If I'm being honest, bro. But bro, you are sick, bro. You're mad. I know you're looking for a bit of confidence.
Why is your side worried about what James is drinking?
No, we'd be happy if he's keeping up with us.
Well, of course, but either way, what business would it be if he's drinking or not? You'd be happy if he's drinking or if he's not drinking. Regardless, you should be worrying about your side. Am I not right?
Yes.
Your preparation is what counts, right? I mean, whether James is drinking or not is totally irrelevant to your side.
It's mad, but Chris, he's always out. He hides drink from you. I've seen him. I've seen him on Snapchat stories holding vodka, drinking vodka. He's scared of you. Bro, he gets. I feel like I allow this. Lock this up now. Let's lock this up. Let's go, man.
I made
Bro, you're an idiot. I've got a picture of you holding your team.
You guys are media. You guys are out there. You will never ever find
listen to
anything
me.
about me.
I'm a party boy. I'm gonna still match that. Pay that way. Stop all this shit. Yo, it's mad what you're going on. It's crazy stuff. I can't wait to literally make you look shit.
One thing everyone's missing in this room, boxing's about levels. You just got to look at levels in boxing. Don't lie to yourself. Speak. Chris is a good prospect coming through, but he's not on the same level. And on Saturday night at FightHype, you will see what it takes to win on this big what it takes to win a world title.
This is what you said before.
And with this experience, Chris might go on and become that fighter that he can become further down the line. But right now, James Degale is levels above Chris Eubank Jr. in all the skillful attributes of boxing. Boxing is a skill. And James has got it in every single department. He's in great shape physically and mentally. And on the night, Chris could bring all the mental strength, willpower, drive he needs, but he hasn't got the skill to beat James Degale. Fact.
Just need a mic to drop there, Jim.
I'm wondering whether Nate Vasquez might like to reply to that.
He does have the skill, and I think his last two showings, he fought a Midwest fighter, and everyone in the States know that the Midwest fighters are not that good because they're brought up in the Midwest. I mean, all their fights have been brought up in the Midwest. You fight in Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri. You don't fight anywhere else. And he happened to come over here and beat James.
But if that's what you're banking on, if that's what But if Truax is what you're banking on, if that's what you're entitled,
I'm not banking on that.
But that's what you mentioned.
His last performances have been up to that, to a Midwest fighter's ability.
But if I go by that standard, Chris, when he fought George Groves, followed him around the ring for 12 rounds and didn't do anything until the last 2 rounds. You know,
Right.
we can't go by those standards because guys adjust.
You can, because Degale also got beat by James Degale.
By George Groves.
Yeah, he got beat by George.
Yeah, 150 years ago.
It's very, very controversial, but yeah.
I've got a question for Jimmy. The girl says that he's ready to retire if he can't beat Chris. If Chris gets the better of him on this night, what do you think? You think he should retire?
100%.
But he's in the best shape of his life right now.
100%.
So you think he's not losing?
I know he's not losing.
And who would you want to see him fight after Christmas?
Don't worry about that.
So one fight at a time, bro. One fight at a time.
Well, your trainer thinks you should retire for these. That's confidence speaking right there.
No, it's just Chris.
Oh, you're a realist, yeah.
Chris, you've got to retire as well if you get beat, because following your dad's footsteps, he was a champion. And that's what the market's
I'm not retiring for a long, long time, Jimmy. I'm in the game for at least another solid 4 or 5 years. I got a lot more to achieve in the sport. And this is the beginning. This is the beginning of a long and fruitful journey for me.
Because he has learned the hard way. But he's learned. And so now let's see what is produced. I think it can be a brilliant fight. It can be a brilliant contest of skill against tenacity. So let's see. If it's a split decision, Jimmy, let's say this girl gets it on a split, should he still retire? If it's close.
You've got to implement, sit down, look at the fight back, and just be real honest. I know, listen, I've seen fighters, I've seen Chris Eubank Senior at his very best, I've seen Joe Calzaghe, I've seen everyone. James DeGale, I'm telling you now, is probably the best British boxer I've ever seen from our country, period. His ability is unbelievable. People don't realise.
Why is the time even in your language?
Because everyone's talking
Because I'm a realist. If I can't beat Chris, that means I've got to retire. I've had a good career. That means I'm shot. That means I'm over the hill.
Here's the thing.
I just believe
But here's what I'm saying. As Senior said, I think it's a good fight. It's a good fight. And I truly believe it's going to be a great fight Saturday night.
Yeah.
James has been up the levels. Okay, James has beaten elite world-class opposition, won 2 major world titles, Olympic gold medal. He's been at the level where he can hold himself to a higher standard. Chris has had some solid wins. Michael Sullivan, Yildirim was a good win, but when he went to that elite level, when he went to Saunders, when he went to Groves, he came up short. So if Chris loses this fight, he can still say, okay, I'm at this level, I need to work to get to this higher level. If James loses this fight, he's now starting to lose to consistently lesser fighters than what he's beaten before. That's the difference in this fight, and that's why there's retirement talk. But when you've been to an elite level and you start to drop, to diminish the kind of fighters that are starting to beat you, you know it's time to go. It happens to everybody at a certain point. But that's if you start to lose to this kind of opposition. And that's not disrespect to Chris, because Chris is a good fighter. But Chris has not beaten this level of opposition yet. So, Chris has not beaten this level. Andre I shouldn't have to. If I have to answer that question, then you shouldn't be asking the question.
Lucius Boulet, 5-year world champion.
Well, I've never heard the girl say he has fear in him.
Fear. Let me tell you something. Though. I think even Eubank Senior would agree with this. A healthy fear is always good because you have to fear to get beat. You have to fear failure as a fighter. You don't fear an opponent. No fighters fear an opponent. Otherwise, we wouldn't be fighters. We fear failure. All fighters fear failure. I guarantee you, Chris fears failure as well. That's a natural instinct of a fighter. If you don't fear failure, you're not bringing your best on the night. So if Chris is not fearing failure Saturday night, I'm actually happy because then James is going to wash him. Okay? That's the common conversation when you hit 30 years old.
Maybe continue it afterwards. We're going to do the head-to-head photos, guys. Then obviously interviews and
so just 1 second before the head-to-head. Just 1 second.
A last word from Richard.
Yeah, just again, thank everybody. Look forward to Saturday night TV box office. You probably better registering earlier on because I think it will be busy on the night. I'd like to thank both sponsors, Voltaron and Red 32, and also I'd just like to point out to the press, Lee Selby's here today, who unfortunately missed yesterday's press conference because Jamie Saniger can't tell the difference between a diesel nozzle and a 4-star nozzle. So he's here today, I believe Omar's here, so we can get a photo of them together as well, and Lee will be available for interviews. Thanks ever so much.
And one last thing, if you applied for accreditation for the fight and you haven't collected it yet, you can do so at the table outside. Thank you.